8:43 p.m., the last librarian locked the doors. The library was empty. At 9:17 p.m., something dropped into the return box outside. A book. No title, no author, no barcode. Just a symbol pressed into the cover and a handwritten note on the first page. Please return this book when you are finished. Inside was a list of names. The first name had already died the previous night. The second name, tomorrow. Then Maya found her own name. On the last page, welcome to the unseen hour. Maya Collins had worked at the city library for 7 years. She arrived every morning at 8:30, unlocked the return box, sorted the overnight returns, made coffee, started her shift. On the morning of June 15th, she found something she had never found before. A book with no title, no author, no library barcode. Just a dark green cover with a strange symbol pressed into it. And on the first page, a handwritten note. Please return this book when you are finished. She assumed someone had left it by mistake. She carried it inside and opened it. The first few pages were blank. Then halfway through, handwriting. A list of names. Daniel Reeves, Margaret Hall, Thomas Carter, Elena Morris. Beside each name was a date. She thought it was some kind of game, until she recognized the first name. Daniel Reeves was a regular library visitor. She'd seen him just 3 days ago. She searched his name on her phone. The first result made her stop breathing. Daniel Reeves had died the previous night. Maya looked back at the book. Beside Daniel's name, someone had drawn a single line through it. She turned the page. More names, more dates. Then one name stopped her completely. Margaret Hall. Maya knew her, an elderly woman who came every Wednesday. The date beside her name was June 18th, tomorrow. Maya found Margaret's number in the library records and called. No answer. She tried again. Then the call connected. Nobody spoke, just breathing, slow and quiet. Then a woman's voice whispered, "You found the book, didn't you?" Maya froze. "Who is this?" The line went silent. Then, "Whatever you do, don't read the next page." The call disconnected. Maya slowly looked down at the book lying open on her desk. She hadn't touched it, but somehow, the next page was already turning. Maya stepped back and watched the page settle. At the top was a name, Margaret Hall. Underneath, tomorrow's date, June 18th, and below that, Margaret's home address and a time, 11:30 p.m. Maya called the police. Detective James Carter arrived 20 minutes later. He examined the book, asked where she found it, checked the security cameras. At 9:17 p.m., a hooded man had approached the return box and placed the book inside. Carter paused the footage, then noticed something. The man hadn't been carrying the book when he arrived. He had taken it out of the return box first, then walked away. 25 minutes later, he returned and put the exact same book back. Carter looked at Maya. That doesn't make sense. They checked the library database. No record of the book, no barcode, no acquisition number, as though it had never belonged to the library. Carter opened it again. Margaret Hall's name now had a black line through it. Maya whispered, "She hasn't died." Carter looked at the clock. 10:06 p.m. He sent officers to Margaret's address immediately. They arrived to find her apartment locked from the inside. No sign of struggle. But on the kitchen table, a cup of tea still warm, and a handwritten note beside it. 4 words, "I returned the book." Then Carter's phone rang. One of the officers outside. "You need to come downstairs." They rushed out. A woman was standing beneath a streetlight. Margaret, alive, but terrified. Carter approached her. She looked past him twice, directly at Maya, then whispered, "You shouldn't have opened it." Maya's face went pale. "Why?" Margaret looked at the book in Maya's hands. "Because now it knows your name." Carter took the book from Maya. He opened it. The list of names was gone, every page blank, until the final page. One name, Maya Collins, today's date, and beneath it, 11:30 p.m. Maya looked at the clock. 11:08 p.m., 22 minutes. Carter closed the book immediately. "We're leaving." But Margaret grabbed his arm. "No." She explained that 18 years ago her younger brother had disappeared. 3 days before he vanished, he had brought home an old green book. He said he found it in the library. The next morning, he was dead. Police called it an accident. But on his bedroom wall, he had written one sentence. "The book doesn't predict deaths." Carter stared at her. "Then what does it do?" Margaret looked at Maya. "It records them." Then Maya's phone rang. "Unknown number." She answered. Nobody spoke. Then she heard pages turning, slowly. Then a man's voice whispered, 11:30. The call ended. 11:21 p.m. 9 minutes. Carter ordered officers to search the library. They returned inside. The building was completely dark. Then Carter stopped. The green book was sitting on the circulation desk. He had put it inside an evidence bag 20 minutes ago. The bag was still in his hand, empty. Carter looked at Maya. For the first time that night, the detective looked genuinely afraid. Then a metallic sound from outside. Clink. Carter opened the front door. The return box. He opened it. Another book. Identical green cover. Identical symbol. He opened it. The pages were blank, until ink slowly appeared. One name, then another, then another. Maya Collins, James Carter, Margaret Hall. All three. And underneath, 11:30 p.m. Carter looked at his watch. 11:28. Every light in the library went out, and somewhere in the darkness, a book slammed shut. 11:29 p.m. 11:30 p.m. The lights came back on. Nobody was dead. Nobody had disappeared. The green book lay open on the desk, but this time there was no list of names, only one sentence. "The book has been returned." Carter immediately called headquarters. He read out every name from the list. Daniel Reeves, Thomas Carter, Eleanor Morris, Margaret Hall, Maya Collins. The officer on the other end went silent. Then, "Detective." They were all connected to the same investigation. Carter froze. What investigation? An 18-year-old case number. Carter looked at Margaret. She already knew. It was the case involving her brother. The officer continued. "Your name is also in the original file, Detective." Carter stared at the book. He finally understood. The book hadn't been predicting deaths. It had been exposing people connected to a crime buried for 18 years. Daniel, Thomas, Elena, Margaret, all connected, all knew something. Carter turned to Maya. "You were never supposed to find it." Maya looked at the green cover. "Then why did it come to the library?" Margaret answered quietly. "Because someone wanted us to." Officers searched the library. Behind an old shelf, they found a small locked box. Inside, photographs, newspaper clippings, police reports, and one handwritten confession. It revealed that 18 years ago, several people had covered up Margaret's brother's murder. But someone had spent years collecting every piece of evidence, using the book not to kill, to force the truth into the open. Carter read the final page, then looked toward the library entrance. The hooded man from the security footage was standing outside. Police surrounded him before he could move. When they removed his hood, Margaret recognized him immediately, her brother's best friend, the man who had been silenced 18 years ago, the man who had spent every year since collecting what nobody else would touch. He was arrested. The others connected to the original murder were arrested alongside him. The truth that had been buried for 18 years finally surfaced. Before leaving, Maya looked at the green book one last time. It was sitting on the desk, closed. A new message had appeared on the cover. Please return the book. Carter took it. He opened the return box outside, placed it inside. The metal door slammed shut. Clink. They walked away. The next morning, the staff opened the return box. Empty. No book, no symbol, no handwriting, nothing. But at exactly 9:17 p.m. that night, something dropped inside. A book. And on its first page, 3 words. Please return me. That was The Unseen Hour, a story about a book that arrived in a library return box with no title and no author, and about the truth it carried for 18 years, waiting for someone to open it. Some books are meant to be read, others are meant to be returned. Subscribe to The Unseen Hour. A new story is coming very soon. And remember, some things find their way to the right person, not by accident, but by design. Good night.